Hello and welcome here to Talk FCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys, where we are going to be discussing the World Cup draw for the 2018 World Cup in Russia, which has been played out this afternoon in Russia. The draw has been made. We now know the groups, we know who is going to be facing who, and there are some very, very exciting matchups in the 8 groups that have been drawn today in Russia. Now, as you know, with FIFA, they like to be really outlandish with their ceremonies. You know, with the Ballon d'Or, they go on for hours and hours about things which have basically no relevance at all with what's going on. But finally, the World Cup draw did get underway and we did find out who at the tournament next summer would be facing each other. The groups were ranked from A to H. There was 8 groups in all, 4 teams in each group, and if my math serves me correctly, that makes 32 teams at the World Cup next summer. It is the biggest prize you can win as a footballer, and of course, Lionel Messi and many of our Barcelona players will be going head to head at that tournament to get their hands on that magical trophy. Now, there were a few restrictions before the draw did get underway about who exactly could face each other. Basically, teams from the same confederation other than Europe could not be in the same group, and if it was Europe, no more than 2 teams from Europe could be in the same group. So if you're from the same confederation, you know, Asia or America, South America, etc, etc, you could not be in the same group. So that's what sort of made it so. And of course, out of the 4 teams, the top 2 teams from each group will progress to the knockout stages in the summer. But let's crack on to the groups itself and let's have a look at some of the matchups. And we're going to start, of course, with the hosts, Russia. And basically the groups were drawn on seedings and they were drawn upon those from the world rankings. So where you ranked in the FIFA World Rankings was where you came out in the draw. There was pot 1, pot 2, pot 3 and pot 4. And I have to say the draw was conducted in a very, very strange manner. Everybody seemed to be drawn out at random times. Random groups got completed. But in the end, we did have an overall picture. In Group A, the hosts Russia, along with Uruguay, Egypt and Saudi Arabia. That will complete Russia's group. Of course, it's always good to have some of the hosts going a decent way in the tournament. There's been a lot of controversy about Russia hosting the World Cup, what'll happen, etc, etc. But obviously, Russia will be pretty pleased with that group. They've got Uruguay, Egypt, Saudi Arabia. But I think every team in that group will fancy their chances. You know what the World Cup is like. It doesn't matter what kind of nation you are. As long as you've got a bit of spirit about you, as long as you've got some togetherness going into that tournament, a bit of belief, you can achieve anything. At the end of the day, it's one-off games. It's not a long time you've got to perform for. If you can put a few wins together, you can find yourself in the knockout phase, and all of those teams will fancy their chances. And then we move on to Group B, where there is an absolutely mouth-watering crash brewing there between Spain and their neighbours, Portugal. They have been drawn in the same group. Spain, Portugal, Iran and Morocco in that group. So Spain and Portugal, no doubt they'll be battling it out for the top spots. Iran and Morocco will be trying to cause them both problems. But in that group, Spain against Portugal really does look fantastic. Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, of Portugal, coming up against a lot of his La Liga teammates and, of course, a lot of Barcelona players in that Spain team as well. And then we move on to Group C. Denmark, France, Australia and Peru make up that group. France going into this tournament, they got a lot of good young players. You know, you think of Samuel Umtiti for France. He's going to be at the heart of their defence going into this tournament. Denmark progressed through the qualifiers. Australia qualified very, very recently for the World Cup. And Peru make up that group. France, very much favourites to top it. They'll be going into the tournament under Didier Deschamps. Whether he is the right man for the job remains to be seen. But France, very much favourites of that group for Denmark, Australia and Peru, battling it out, I think, for that second qualifying spot. But like I say, anything can happen. We've seen it in World Cups gone by. France have been very good going into the tournaments. The one World Cup, of course, they went in, they absolutely capitulated. There was arguing in camp. They fell to pieces, did not progress. And you know, in these kind of tournaments, anything can happen. And that is why the World Cup can be so exciting. In Group D, we've got Iceland, Croatia, Nigeria and Lionel Messi's Argentina. Now, personally, my team Wales will not be competing at the World Cup, so I'm very much going into this as a sort of neutral viewer, which isn't ideal, but obviously, I think all of us, you've got your own countries, and if you have got to the World Cup, by the way, if your country is there, many congratulations, and it's going to be a fantastic summer, I'm sure. But Argentina, I think all of us connected with Barcelona, all of us with a bit of connection with Lionel Messi, we want to see him do well, and to get his hands on that trophy, would be an unbelievable achievement, and it would be fantastic for all of us, and of course Messi included. Argentina with Nigeria, they were also in the same group as them in Brazil, Messi performing and scoring in that World Cup. Croatia also, of course, Modric and Ivan Rakitic will be in that group with Messi, and Iceland, who of course with a very much a surprise package at the Euros. They are very much a team who are very together, very good team spirit with Iceland. That completes Group D. Then in Group E, we move on to Brazil, who are accompanied by Switzerland, Costa Rica and Serbia in that group. Brazil, of course, going into this tournament, they were outstanding in qualifying. They topped their group very, very easily. Tite, their new coach, has done fantastic things with Brazil. Neymar, of course, ex-Barcelona Pelé, will be looking to get his hands on the World Cup as the golden boy. It didn't quite work out, though, when Brazil were the home nation in the last World Cup, and it's going to be interesting to see how they fit things together in this World Cup, where, of course, Paulinho of Barcelona colours will be taking part. Switzerland, Costa Rica and Serbia joining Brazil in Group E. Now on to Group F, which has Sweden, who of course qualified fantastically in the playoff rounds, Germany, who are very much favourites for this World Cup, South Korea and Mexico also in that group. But like I say, Germany, very much the outstanding team. The Euros, of course, they are brilliant. They won the World Cup. They also won the Confederations Cup last summer, and their young players coming through, absolutely outstanding. Ter Stegen, of course, is right now playing as Germany's #1. Manuel Neuer is out injured, but I think if Ter Stegen can keep playing at that level, the what he's shown all season, he's been one of the world's best by a long, long way. If he can do that going into the World Cup, he can put some real pressure on Manuel Neuer's gloves. It would be great to see Ter Stegen play for Germany in this upcoming World Cup, and they'll definitely, of course, be favourites of that group and in the entire tournament as a whole. And now on to Group G, where again is a very, very interesting matchup. England will take on Belgium. Again, every single tournament that Belgium go into, they're sort of these dark horses. They've got some fantastic players, the likes of Eden Hazard. They've got a lot of young players as well coming through. Roberto Martinez, Belgium's national team manager, and England as well. Going into the tournament, they're always sort of bigged up with the players that they've got. They've got the English media who expect a lot from them, but they never seem to deliver, especially recently at major tournaments. You look at the Euros, they were knocked out by Iceland. At the World Cup, they didn't even get out of their group. So a very big tournament looming for Gareth Southgate and England, and they'll be going head to head for top spot with Belgium in that group. Tunisia and Panama also joining them, and those two will be trying to cause a massive, massive upset in Group G. And finally now on to the final group, which is Group H, which has in it Poland, Senegal, Japan and Colombia make up Group H, and that is the final group that we're going to go through here. Poland, some very exciting players there too. They were very good in qualifying. Robert Lewandowski scoring goals for fun in European qualifying. Senegal, of course, Sadio Mane, one of their very key players. They were good in qualifying as well. He helped put them through to the World Cup. Japan and Colombia, of course, they were one of the surprise packages of the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. James Rodriguez making his name in that one. And it's going to be really, really exciting to see a lot of these groups pan out, because like I say, in the World Cup, anything can happen, because you're always going to have your favourite teams in the World Cup. You know, you've got Germany, you've got Argentina, Brazil, Spain, whether you want to count Portugal in the Euro winners, of course, and it's going to be so interesting to see how it all pans out. Will the favourites go on and get to the knockout stages and perform as expected, or will we have some surprise package? As a neutral, like I say, I'm firmly behind Lionel Messi. I would love to see him go out there and win the World Cup that I think he deserves. He can lead that Argentina team to glory, even though their team is definitely not one of the strongest here. They're going to need some luck, they're going to need a lot of togetherness, they're going to need George Sampaoli to really get a game plan going and to fit everything in around Messi to make it as best as he can. There's also other people like Germany, like I say, they've got an incredibly strong squad. Joachim Löw, a fantastic manager. They've done brilliantly on the international scene. You've got somebody like Spain, fantastic of course in years gone by. Has their time come to an end? Lopetegui wants to prove that it has not come to an end and they can still compete at the very, very top of international football. Then you've got people like France, Belgium, Brazil, of course. They're always going to be contenders at the World Cup, and everybody else as well. Everybody in this World Cup will stake their claim. Everybody will play their part, and I really, really hope in this summer's World Cup it can be a very, very entertaining time for us all. I did mention it yesterday in my community section. A lot of you guys did think it was a very good idea. I would like in the summer to sort of be doing lots of videos on the World Cup, lots of reviews, lots of previews, lots of overall videos on what's going on. There's not going to be an awful lot with Barcelona going on while the World Cup is on. Of course, transfer window will be open, but we're also going to be taking a closer look at the World Cup in the summer on the channel, and that sounds very, very exciting indeed. So there's still a few months to go until the World Cup kicks off in Russia, but do let me know down below, guys, your predictions for the upcoming tournament. Who do you think will win? Who do you think will be the surprise package? And of course, if you have got a nation that is going to be competing, lucky you, and let me know your thoughts and your nations down below, guys. I appreciate all your comments. I will see you very, very shortly indeed. But until then, as always, Vesca El Barça.